You want to learn how to paint white flowers in watercolor and you're just not sure how? Let's paint these daisies in a teacup. You're going to love it. Okay, so today let's paint a teacup, and I'm going to use some masking fluid. The way that I use this is I take a brush and dip it in water first and then on some soap, get it nice and soapy. And then I dip it straight into this masking fluid because I want to mask off. I want to draw with a masking fluid, a little teacup. And you can just follow along with me. I have a size 6 brush. This is just kind of a cheaper brush from Blick Scholastic. It is their golden talcum round. And so I've got the edge of my teacup masked off. I'm going to go ahead and see how I'm just dipping right back into that. Oops, I got a little spatter, but that's kind of fun. I'm just going to roll with it. And look how I just create that, rounded line for the teacup. Going to dip back in and add a nice handle. And everywhere that I'm masking is going to stay white. Okay. And I actually think this might be cute to have some little white daisies in it. And so I'm going to just brush in some fun little petals shapes so that when I go to paint everything else, it will leave this part masked, the white of the paper. So these little daisies I think are going to be really fun sticking up out of this teacup. I might even go ahead and do the stems. Just like that. And since I have a little spatter, maybe it'll be fun to add a little bit of spatter with my masking fluid. Since I already have that going on, might as well roll with it, right? Okay, nice. So these will all be masked off. Just making sure I got that there. All right, and we're gonna let this masking fluid dry. And then what we will do is paint a really lovely dark background, and everything else will pop forward because it will be bright white of the paper. Okay. Okay, you want to make sure that your masking fluid is completely dry. It will feel a little tacky because it is like rubber cement, and it just, but once it's dry, then you won't ruin your brush when you go to paint. I am going to have a little fun with this and just go ahead and spritz your paper with water. And then I'm going to tap in. I've got some nice Prussian blue and indigo on this. And I think I'm even going to do yellow ochre, nice yellow ochre spatters. Okay. This is going to look really, really pretty. And then sap green is a nice green. So I'm going to go in here with some sap green. I think we have a nice color palette with this. We've got the blues and the kind of golds and the greens. So I'm just tapping in this so that I can kind of just play around with the paint a little bit. This is super fun. And look how it's already creating this beautiful bleeds and blends right there. But now I'm going to just take clear water on my brush and start to kind of mesh this paint around and create this lovely backdrop for these daisies. And I think this I want to be darker, so I'm going to go in with some Prussian blue and really get that dark so that our daisies will pop out once we take the masking fluid off and let it dry. Okay, so you can already see how those are masked nicely there. Okay, and right down here, I'm just gonna I kind of intuitively paint and decide what areas I want to kind of smush around with my brush and what I want to leave. I just want to leave that plane just like it is. But up here I want to kind of mess around with this paint a little bit so that when I take this masking fluid off, the daisies will just pop right out. It'll look really, really pretty. Okay, I think I like that, just like that. Okay, look how that dried, really nice. I mean, beautiful. Look at those nice bleeds and blends. I'm really happy with this. So now let's go ahead and remove the masking fluid. And you'll notice around, I just did Scotch tape. I don't know if you realize that you can even just use Scotch tape to tape your painting down all the way around, but I am gonna just kind of wipe up any excess paint on the side with a paper towel so that when I rub this off, it's not gonna mess up anything. But see how I just take my fingers and just get off all this masking fluid? Nice, just like that. And it will reveal our daisies and our cup. It's a nice contrast between the white and the dark, light and the dark. Okay, once that's all rubbed off, then we can go ahead and start painting in our cup. I'm going to go in just with the indigo color and do kind of the edge work for our mug. And here I'm just doing lines with just a very light wash of this indigo. And kind of bringing the structure back to our cup. Maybe it's a coffee mug or a teacup, I don't know, but either way, I think it's really fun. Nice to do broken lines, so skip some areas where you're going to lay down that paint. Look how fun that is. I might actually go in with a little bit darker indigo. Kind of do some almost dry brushing here. Just so that pops out just a little bit more. That's really fun. Okay. Now let's grab, I like kind of keeping my paintings with the same color palette. So these daisies are going to still have yellow ochre that we used for the background. It's going to be the, little tops of our daisies. And that part I got out of the lines a little bit, but I think that's okay. See how cute? Oh my goodness, these are so cute. And it's nice to just leave a little bit of the whites, to show highlights. And now with the petals, since they're daisies, you will see some shadows. So not all of these petals are going to be completely white, right? They're going to have a little hint of that blue on them to create that shadow. So I'm just kind of using a very pale wash of the indigo blue that we've been using here. Okay. Some of the little shadows might be a little bit darker so that you really create the look that you want, that you can actually see those petals start coming back and not being so blob-like. They're more form, they have a form to them. So don't be afraid to just dip straight in with the point of your brush to add a little bit of shape back in there to these. Look how beautiful. Wow, that's really coming together nice. I really like this. I think you're going to have fun with this. I love teaching. I love hearing the wins that my students have. They'll tell me, oh, I painted. I teach adults and I also teach kids in person, but I love when they tell me that they've practiced outside of class and they show me the things that they're painting, because They're so talented. And I love sharing art with them. So beautiful, really nice, beautiful. I'm going to grab a little bit of that sap green. And here I'm going to just, add that to the stem. Add the green so that you can see the green coming up. Green stems coming up like that. What else does it need? What do you think? Maybe we need a few little darker dots in the center. I might switch over to an even smaller brush. I've been doing most of this with a number 10 or a number 6, but I might switch over to a number 2 just to darken up some of those centers so you really see that pop. And I think I might just use indigo still, keeping with the same color palette. But just kind of see how I'm just darkening up to show the contrast between the light and the dark and giving that more rounded look through there. Cute. Okay, I think that's it, but wasn't that so fun? Have a great day and happy painting.